Welcome back, everyone. We're doing our second installment of Lord of the Rings memes, where we take a look at some of the memes on the internet, laugh about them, and explain them for people who don't understand what the meme is trying to say.
Landlords when it's time for them to give your deposit back. After all, why not? Why shouldn't I keep it?
I'm not going to touch this one. I am. I. Yeah, I think you'll explain this one.
But, I mean, it's hard. You don't want to give it back. I mean, the context in the movie is Gandalf is telling Bilbo to give up the ring, and it's obviously very hard to give up the ring.
hmm
And I guess it'd be hard to give away your deposit money too.
Well, and I said I wasn't going to touch it, but I will say the important thing is that you have to. So they should have followed this up with "I'm not trying to rob you." All right. Okay, number 9. So much red string. Okay, Christopher Tolkien trying to put together his father's notes. Okay, yeah. So
This from It's Always Sunny.
yeah. So the thing is, the way writers write, the way everyone writes, is they have these collection of ideas, and sometimes they're fleshed out, and sometimes they're not. And
Yeah,
so he's trying to make it readable to the average person, and so he's got to have all these different, like, this refers to this random letter he sent to his friend, like all these things, and he's trying to put together these books that help decipher what the heck's going on, because there's so many things we still don't know, like Tom Bombadil. We still don't know what the heck's going on over there. So I think that task is, I think for the most part he's done a good job. Like some of these books I'm reading where it he's got a lot of like footnotes and stuff where um he's mentioned where he got the information from. Like it, I like that. I like it's not just dumped on us. I do like that it's curated in a way that we can read it and understand where this information comes from, and the back end process that he's dealing with.
hmm
But it must be a nightmare like that, where he's like got like these, because he's probably got his own theories about some of these things, and he doesn't want to impart that. Um,
man. Doing, I mean, with my own PhD work, I mean, it can be like that if you come back to something after a while. What was it? It's my own thoughts.
yeah. What was I going for there?
So I
Did
can't
I really
imagine.
mean orcs and
And
goblins are the
this is
same?
immensely more complicated too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and also, I should point out there were some changes in later editions that Tolkien himself made, in terms of making some of the um, inconsistencies between the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings
Oh,
trilogy
okay.
slash books, just in terms of like character demeanor and um, like Gandalf's earlier editions of the Hobbit had Gandalf a little bit more colorful and vibrant. I mean, he still is pretty upbeat in those books versus the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but um, there were just some things like that along the way, or just some things like when they get to the elves, just dealing with elves and stuff. There's a few minor tweaks he made apparently to make it fit better with his trilogy. Because when he wrote The Hobbit, it was just sort of like a fun little whimsical adventure, and then when it became part of this bigger collection of the world of Middle Earth and all that, he had to make it a little bit more serious than he originally wrote. And so Christopher's going to have that too going on, where like things that were inconsistent were simply because Tolkien wrote them in different eras of his own life, where he at first wanted it to be a lot more fun and whimsical, and then he kind of wanted it to be a bit more serious. And so dealing with all that and dealing with all the random stuff that's just mentioned upon and is not really talked about ever, like giants. I mean, the world building gets wrecked with giants, I'm just gonna say. If there's actual giants the way that Peter Jackson shows them in The Hobbit, it completely makes no sense.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Why would you get orcs when you could just go get one of these giants? Mind control the giant and you win. There's no way Legolas is bringing that thing down.
Good point.
Don't waste your time on orcs and goblins. They're useless.
They could have edited that out of the movie, maybe.
Well, so I think that the giants were just names that they were giving to like trolls and stuff, like larger creatures that were giant to them. But it's similar to goblins and orcs, right? There's a big debate about whether or not goblins and orcs are the same thing. I don't even know where I keep flip-flopping. I keep reading a lot of things claim that he did intend for them both to be the same creature, but then some are like, no, it's different versions of that weird hybrid of breeding goblins and men together kind of thing, like that kind of stuff. So, but like there's poor Christopher's got to sort through this and be like, oh, here he says goblin, here he says orc, and maybe that's the name of the creature that each race has for the same creature. Like, so he's got a task at hand, and I don't envy that. And I just like reading like the little footnotes of these books. I've got like the bestiary of Middle Earth with me, and like I don't even know the names of some of these creatures, and it sounds like neither does he. He just calls them by what they call them in the books. All right, and number 10, you want to do? Oh, this one's fun.
Yeah, Sam, Bess, Bob, and Doug. Just realized that Bob from Stranger Things is Doug from 50 First Dates, and I don't know what to do with this information. Sam Gamgee did not help Frodo take the ring all the way to Mordor, destroy Sauron, and save Middle Earth just to be recognized as Bob and Doug.
I've seen so many versions of this meme where it's just random characters where he's just talking about like they'll take a character and then they'll just have, instead of the actual line from the movie or show, they'll have a Lord of the Rings line that just doesn't make any sense over top of a character from another movie or show. But yeah, like Sean deserves better than to be recognized that way, for sure. I don't know. I mean, he was also in the Goonies, right? So
yeah.
So you know, there's other things you can recognize him for, but obviously, I think Lord of the Rings. How could you not recognize him in Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. Well, that's.
Especially Doug from 50 First Dates. I mean, that's such a minor role for him. Like, look at that shirt.
This was after Lord of the Rings, I remember.
Yes. I mean, yeah, he was super young in Lord of the Rings. But yeah, this was definitely after, and I mean, I want that shirt, but yeah, I will say that part of this meme does play into that idea that Sam is the true hero. Like, that's sort of the potential underlying of this. Like, this person's getting like really like defensive about people not giving Sam Gamgee the respect he deserves. And maybe we'll get into that at some point, because that's an interesting topic, because I love Sam and Boromir. Just want to make that known. Boromir and Sam are great for very different reasons. Where do you stand on Sam, just real quick before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I love him. Yeah, one of my favorite characters.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you've got any other memes that you want us to take a look at, Throw them in the comment section. We love looking at Lord of the Rings memes. I just do this even when I'm not filming. Remember to like, share, and we'll see you all next time.